20. What does that even mean? I don't know. We have so much to talk about. Let's go.
Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up.
What is your day looking like right now? Like
just Philadelphia cream cheese.
So my wife asked me to stop singing Wonderwall all the time, and I said maybe.
what does a nosy pepper do?
What?
It gets jalapeno business.
Need her forever. She had a life, Louis. She's a person. It's not about you, dude.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Let's talk what we're grateful for.
She didn't understand inflation. I got $5 for every Christmas in fucking 1984. Like 1994.
You hang out enough. You copy each other's facial hair and the double mustache and that is fucking gross. So welcome.
I do want to be clear though that I have earned one, and Lou is depressed. There's a big difference. Lou is still trying to convince 16-year-olds he's cool, and they keep telling him they don't want weed from him. They can get it from anywhere. So, there's a difference between mine and his.
Guys, what's going on? Ryan, welcome back. You are alive, you are well, you are glowing, and you have Wi-Fi. Welcome, everyone.
It feels so good to be back. It was a rough week, but here we are, ready to talk some week. What is it? 19, I think you said.
20.
20. Okay.
Yeah. Week 19, not important. Week 20, it's all about this week. Yeah, we the last time we saw you, you were laying in a pillow and then you just had no face. So we are so happy to see you, and you look very chic and thin. So give me that stomach flu or whatever that was. No one is giving me that flu. It's all I want. But we're so glad you're back. We're so glad.
Thanks. Well, I'm glad to be back. Lou, how have you been?
We're going good. We're having a little bit of a run. I got 9 mitten 2s and 9 mitten 3s through out of 30 entries each. So I'm throwing about 33% of my mittens through to the next round in some playoff best ball. An RFFPC 35 challenge is the best one I get going, although we didn't go Loveland. Nothing's in the money there. But hey, the Bills won, and I think fantasy football comes second to that, I believe, right?
Yeah, totally. That works. You just sounded like you got dumped. And none of your teams are doing well. So we don't have to talk about that. But, all right.
Do we want mittens are fine. Mittens are doing good.
Okay.
We got some mittens live. I got some real live ones. I'm fine. Everything is fine. We're all fine. As long as the Bills make the Super Bowl, I think I'll win some playoff fantasy money. And I think we're getting there.
Okay, you don't sound into it, but I'm into it. So do we want to talk about some of my pet peeves that I feel are going to happen now that we're in week 20 and a selective few teams are now the chosen few? I know we sometimes talk about this every year, but this is part of everything and nothing. If any new listeners, this is where I ramble about nothing that has to do with this podcast, and everybody has to listen to it. No, we talk about pop culture and what's going on, but something that really bothers me, and I know it's going to happen, but it's this collective fandom when somebody loses a game, i.e. the Steelers. Let's say the Steelers, they lose a game. Wasn't a good game we saw this weekend for the Steelers, but you get a couple keyboard warriors and they complain about the coach, and Mike Tomlin's a different story. I think he was done. I think that's more complicated, But the Mike McDaniel issue, we're going to get to coaches soon. But I just want to say, we don't have to get into it now. We'll get into it when we get to the coaching segment. If the Bills don't take it all, I do not want to hear people chirping that we need to get rid of the entire team and burn it, because that's what I'm not ready for at this part of the season. I'm not ready for it. I'm not prepared for it. I don't want to hear it. I just can't deal with it. I know. Hot take.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I'll guarantee you're going to, if they don't win the Super Bowl. If they win the Super Bowl, there might be guys that will be like, they did it in spite of being. I will say this. If the Bills fall short again this year, this is the most dominant team dynasty that has never won a Super Bowl. I mean, when you look at all the stats, this is now the only team to win a playoff team or game, I think, in 6 straight years, besides like 5 other teams in the last like 20 years. And all those other 5 teams won the Super Bowl within those 5 years. There has to be an end game. I hate that we went from these lovable losers to like demanding a Super Bowl win. But if they fall short here, there has to be some responsibility. And usually I'm the one that's pointing fingers at McDermott. I honestly have switched that a little bit, especially on this year's team where I am. If I am going to be pointing fingers at the end of the season, it will be towards Brandon Beane and leaving our boy Josh without any weapons. Okay. But I understand what you're saying, and I don't burn it down, sure, but I think it's time to demand a Super Bowl victory before Josh gets to be too old and outside of his prime here, because it's coming.
All right.
Yeah, to me, just appears to be one glaring hole on the team. It's been obvious for a while. The lack of receiver depth is finally, now really catching up to them. Perhaps this week it's going to be a struggle. So, yeah, I'm in agreement with Lou on pretty much everything he said. I have also flipped from blaming McDermott to more so blaming Beane for this roster. And if you go back to even 2018, 2019, we should have been addressing the wide receiver position then. And instead we make the trade for Diggs. Then he's gone. And what have we done since then? Really nothing of significance. So, yeah, that's on Beane.
I mean, we picked up Bosa, but that is
not what we.
And I do want to give credit for Shaq Thompson. Shaq Thompson was a really nice pickup. He's playing really good, and especially with the injury to Bernard, I mean, that's been a really key pickup. So, on the defensive side of things, I've been mostly pretty happy with their roster construction. It's just offensively, I feel it's lacking.
Yeah.
I honestly don't think we're going to end up in a spot where we're going to need to bitch. I really feel that this is going to happen here this year.
Okay, awesome. Next time you say that, please say it not like you are Chat GPT.
I'm still saying it from a sad fandom. I'm still saying it from a place of fear.
Yeah,
mostly because everything I put out in the universe goes awry. But no, I feel pretty confident with how things are going there right now.
Okay. Yeah. Next time, say it like you don't think there's heartbreak at the end of the story. Okay. So, so let's talk about things other than sports, right? Ladies, am I right? Okay. No. But okay. So I'm going to give you a fun little fact, little pop culture. We have talked with the show in the past in one of our drafts, but the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air house has hit the market. Everyone, you can buy a piece of history. Does anyone want to take a guess what the house that Will Smith grew up in is being set for?
Before my guess, I do need to say hi to Nathan. Nathan said, "Please say hi to me, please."
Hi, Nathan. I'm saying hi.
He also hit us with a 6'7". 6'7".
Oh.
I think that's it. So I think 6'7", Nathan. 6'7". I think that's how it goes, right? Did I just lose all of our listeners?
I feel as though Nathan is borrowing someone's YouTube account because you say your name is Nathan, but you're at Ruby Zarzoza. So
I don't know though. You hit us in our other podcast with like a weird name too. Yours
it was
like
Allie Brady 13. He's like, who is this? I was like, I'm Allie.
It wasn't though. It really wasn't. That's so funny. That's really funny. It was not though.
Really yourself. I was like, it's me. Hi guys.
Wait,
it's my face.
I'm sorry about my ADHD. I'll be the first one to guess.
That's cute. Hi, Yellow Bandits. Hi.
$10.8 million.
You're saying for the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air house, 10.8.
$10.8 million.
Wow, somebody is still living in the 90s. Ryan, what do you got?
All right, I'll say $25 million.
All right, Ryan has drank his Pedialyte and is feeling better. It is going for just under 30 million. So Ryan, you're taking it. So that, you can own a piece of television history for $30 million. So I can't imagine the insides look like the outsides. Again, ladies, am I right? But that's what that house is going for. So interesting. I'm sure it's not going to sell for remarkably even a fraction of that price. So there you go. Let's see. Did anyone watch Aaron Andrews this? Well, let's see. Wait. Okay.
Chris Plumer says, tell old wedding goggles to never do the 6'7" thing again. He's almost 50 for crying out loud.
Welding goggles.
Thanks.
I love
wedding goggles.
What did I say? I said welding, didn't I? Sorry.
You said wedding goggles.
Wedding goggles. When you wear your special glasses for your wedding. And to Chris Plumer, everyone, Louis, Ryan, and Chris do this amazing Sabres podcast. Chris, I'm sure you're watching the fantastic game right now. And Chris could probably also echo the fact that it was Allie Brady 13 at Yahoo, or that was asking a question about Bellick the last time you guys won. So I love animals, everyone. Who doesn't, right? And there are some fun animal facts, and here are some fun, interesting things to think about. So we have crow facts. I love crows. They're fun and also mean, but crows teach their offsprings to hate the same humans that they hate. Is that the most amazing fact, or are you like, yo, calm down, crow? Ryan, what's your hot take on crows?
I think I'm gonna side on. I'm gonna respect the hating. I'm gonna respect the level of hating. I mean, that's dedication to the hate. So, good for the crow, I guess.
Yeah.
But how does a crow at some point get in a grudge with a human? Like, do they not feed them? Do they give them the bread, even though they're not supposed to give them bread? Because I guess that's bad for birds, right? And ducks.
So many.
Or is it just ducks or birds? I don't know.
A little bit of them all. Now, follow-up question now to Louis, another animal hot take. Male mice sing love songs to females in sounds so high-pitched that humans cannot hear them. Louis, what is a mouse's? What's a mouse karaoke song? What do you think they're doing? What do they say?
This is a good one. I think probably a little high pitch. I think a little bit of a Benson Boone, maybe just a little. Please don't wait. Hold on. Please take these beautiful things that I've got. Jelena's better at it. I'll let her do it next time. But yeah, I think that's. But wait, I want to go back to the crows. Who's interviewing the crows?
Everyone.
Who is interviewing the crows to see what grudges they are holding? How are we testing
it's
that
amazing. It's amazing. They crows will drop off coins to people because they will. If you feed them, they find a connection with people. There is I don't know. They just pop tires. They ruin people's lives. I don't know. There's myths that have been going on for centuries, which I think is fun. It's fun. The animals are. Why wouldn't they hold a grudge? What have humans done that has helped the crow? Let me put a shock wire in the sky. That fun little area you had. I'm going to now put an electrical wire so you can sit on.
I also don't feel like that's the craziest thing to teach your your like your kids to hate the people you hate. I mean, I'm not saying hate. I'm not saying, hey, hate this dude, but the same people I don't like, I'm gonna be like, hey, we don't like that dude. I
Correct.
didn't.
Brilliant.
My former best friend, who was my daughter's godfather, wouldn't even let her around her for a year because of an argument. Like, no, I'm petty and I'm a crow.
So with that, what did you tell your daughter to scream when she sees that person so everyone else is aware? Like, what does she say?
I told her to sing at a high pitch.
Yeah, that's honestly, it's great. It's lovely. It's so that very sweet. So I have so many more animal facts. We'll save that for next week. So we are going to actually move on. We're going to talk about football. So if you thought that was fun, guys, next week I've got some Valentine's Day facts for everyone. So buckle up. But let's talk about football. So we are in week 20. This is when things get very serious. Let's talk the wild card review. So we have some very low, boring games that just ended up in a 3 to 4 point victory. So what are your reviews on this?
Well, I mean, let's start. I don't think Ryan and I talked much about this yesterday when we had a couple minutes together on the other podcast, but I've been dying to hear your opinion on this. We'll start with the Bills game. Absolutely needed to kneel the ball, like whatever, 20/20 vision, right? But like absolutely needed to kneel the ball down there at the end and kill 40 seconds, or is that 13 seconds playing in my head? I think 100, and I like the fact that he came out, explained that he was thinking about it, explained why he made the decision he made. Like, at least he wasn't just blind to the fact, or sometimes McDermott has that like confidence to him where he comes out and like, no guys, it was the obvious move. Like, he did say it was a very tough call and he came up with it. What was your opinion on how to play that?
Yep. I think you have to look no farther than Josh Allen's comments following the game about what he thought about that. And he said something to the effect of, it worked. So good, something like that. So, he liked the result. I think 100% you have to, you don't have to kneel in that situation. You can just go for, if they're going to allow you to score, just go right to the 1 inch line, 6 inches.
Almost that's what I wanted Josh to know there. At least I wanted Josh to know if they were going to back up like they did, that he could have just put the knee down at the 1 inch line there. That's all I want. I like you said, I don't even 100% need the kneel down, although I like the idea. I really wanted them to knee it down. But like when they backed up like that and we're just going to let him score, I just want him to know that he should have put the knee down one time there. Gets down to 20 seconds. And honestly, I think the real conversation is whether they should have done it a second time and got it down to like 10 seconds before they even tried on 3rd and 4th down. You're not stopping Josh Allen on 2 straight tush pushes, I don't think, ever, but whatever. It like you said, it all worked out. Real good game. I mean, back to forth. I think there's some things just here as Bills fans we could talk about, like crazy that the Jags gave up on the running game. I mean, they were just killing us with the running. Etienne and Tootin were really doing well, and they just kind of deserted it. I feel like that was a weird move.
Yeah, my overall thoughts on the game were, and it's only like this after you win one of these games, but I just appreciated getting to watch that game. It was one of the most complete, entertaining, back and forth, nearly mistake-free, I would say. I mean, I know there were turnovers and whatnot, but it was just an excellent football game where you're respecting the hell out of the Jags. I mean, how could you not? They played a really, really good game. They have a bright future. I mean, Parker Washington looking like, Peerless Price out there or something like that. Like he's excellent as a 1B type receiver. And yeah, I do think they moved Thomas. Let's get him here. But I'm excited for the next round here, but yeah, it was a really good game. And I'm just glad that the Bills could show that they were able to win without James Cook getting going. And that's a big deal for me, because if they, can stifle James Cook, so can these other, defenses coming up. So, Josh is Josh. I still like their chances.
Can I make one dynasty football point here off of your thing there? I know you're still trying. Yeah, they're going to get rid of Brian Thomas Jr., but Brian Thomas Jr. stays, your boy Travis Hunter is a full-time cornerback next year. We do know that, right? You do feel that coming on now?
No, they already said
you
he's
are.
playing both ways. So I know that's the obvious thing. I do think they move off of Thomas, so it's going to open up a spot. I just he doesn't fit into what they want to do, especially looking ahead. If I were I would look ahead and say, we're not going to sign this guy. We're probably not going to pick up his option. So why not get a second round pick? He could go for a second round pick easily.
Really good football all the way through. The weekend, the Saturday games were both great, obviously. Anything, what was let's say before we just go on to the divisional round, like what was your most shocking thing from the weekend? A shocking win, I guess, probably.
Well, I'm going to say a shocking near win with Carolina. I respected them. I gained a lot of respect for them. It's also a tough spot to be in now if you're a Panthers fan, because I still don't legitimately believe in Bryce Young, but he really did have a good game and has had 2 really good games against an excellent team in the Rams, almost pulling it off again, beating them. So that was pretty surprising. And then I guess I'll just say, I wasn't overly surprised by this either, but it was just disappointing to see the Chargers fall on their face like that against, I thought, a pretty vulnerable Pats team. But again, because I expect the West Coast teams to go east and struggle, especially, that Chargers team, the way they were built, I guess I wasn't surprised by the result.
Now, just a follow-up question on the Pats win, Ryan. So a lot of people are saying, the strength of schedule for the Patriots were not nearly what everyone else was dealing with, but they have won some pretty serious games. What's your take on that?
I think they're a good team. I mean, I'm not a disbeliever in what they've done. I don't want to discredit them. I think they're a legitimate number 2 seed. They deserve to win the division this year. The Bills weren't sharp enough. And so, yeah, I think they're going to give any team that they play, a pretty tough test. It's going to be an interesting game against Houston. So, I guess we could try to get into those now.
Yeah,
I'll say my big. I don't want to talk about the New England Chargers game because I was on hour 10 of my drinking of that day. I was still out at Frizzy's during that game and till 2:00 in the morning. By the way, from the Bills game, it was a long day. We were celebrating, so I don't want to talk about the Chargers Pats game. I will say the Bears, as impressive as that comeback was,
what a game.
And they just keep doing it. I mean, we're going to talk about the divisional round here. Let's start with this.
Yeah, so let's go Bears Rams.
Yeah, let's go Bears
Louis,
Rams.
what's your hot take?
I'll go right in.
Yeah.
I think the Bears are going to win this game. 3.5 point spread, a lot lower than I expect. I shouldn't say a lot lower, but I expected like a 5.5 point spread in Chicago. If it's in LA all day, I'm going Rams, but I just think there's a little bit of magic here with this Bears team. I think they win this week.
I would love to see it. I don't think they're going to win. I think the Rams are going to be able to move the ball pretty soundly on the Bears. But I see the Rams making that conference championship game against the Seahawks. I feel like I've kind of been pinning that for weeks. They are, I think, in my opinion, the 2 best teams, but it isn't always the best 2 teams that make that game. So, the Bears are plucky. They have a really, really sharp coach who is aggressive, and Caleb Williams has shown. I mean, the ability to play outside of pocket is awesome. He really doesn't look super sharp at times when he's in the pocket, when he has to just deliver a strike. But he's got that Mahomesian, play to him where he can get outside the tackle box. And I can't imagine that throw when he has the Jordan, fadeaway kind of throw. It's just beautiful. It's excellent.
It's just him it's him and Josh Allen that can make that throw. Maybe Drake May. I mean, there's like 3 guys that can make that throw. Whatever. We're going to go through these games here. All 4 of them are great, but this game I think is going to be a lot closer than people think.
All right. Next up, we have Seahawks against 49ers. Ryan, what do you got?
Look, you can't ever count out the 49ers. I think with the way Purdy plays in that system, with the fact that they have McCaffrey, losing Kittle hurts, but that team has built to just kind of churn production out of whoever they have that's healthy. So I wouldn't be surprised if the 49ers won, but to me, the Seahawks are the more complete team. That defense is legitimately elite, I think, up there with the likes of, Denver and Houston. So I think they're going to give the 49ers some trouble. And I could see, here's a sneaky bet for you that I put, I think, a dollar or two on, but, 2 touchdowns for the Seahawks defense, similar to weird things happens in these games. It could be pick six, could be a fumble recovery, who's to say it couldn't get away from the 49ers at some point. So it's another really fun game to watch. I love all of the games this weekend. And so this is going to be a really entertaining watch, but I think the Seahawks are going to be able to pull it out.
Yeah, it's again just another. This is just the best playoffs that I could remember in my lifetime, and this is why the parity is what it is, and why this is what they strive for, right? Like every game this week was really great, besides the Texans Steelers game, and even that was close till late, until the come away. This weekend, I think we're gonna have 4 really great games again. This one is a coin flip to me, and I think I just really follow your thoughts here. Like, you can never count out the 49ers without Kittle. Jake Tunges has not looked much different than Kittle has when Kittle's been hurt this year. I mean, the production's been basically the same. So I don't think they're going to lose a lot there. I think that's very system position for them. I just think the Seahawks defense is too good. And I think Darnold, if he could just protect the ball, obviously, this will be a victory for the Seahawks. And I really, I'm leaning Bears and Seahawks for my NFC Championship.
All right. Now we've got the guy that puts bounties on people and the guy that there's a bounty joke in there somewhere that you guys would play video about. But Bills versus Broncos. I'm a scared. Louis, what do you got?
Yeah. I feel way better as a Bills fan this week than I did last week. I really do. I think the Broncos are an easier matchup than the Jags. I don't look at the 14-day rest as much of an advantage as everybody else does. I think sometimes that can kind of be too much, when you're used to playing, weekly. And I know they have one bye week during the week, whatever, or the season. I get that, but I get that they're healthier. We do get back Oliver, hopefully, maybe Samuel this week. With the wide receivers, I mean, it is insane. I mean, it's just so crazy how these guys are just dropping like flies, and they're down to 3 healthy wide receivers. I think our buddies Joe and Jeremy on GR made a really good point this morning. It was like, if Ty Johnson does play, the top 6 Bills in targets are all healthy. I mean, the guys that are missing are guys that were on the bottom of the totem pole, although, we were asking them to do a lot because of the injuries. I think the Bills win this game rather easily. When I say easily, I'm talking 14-10 points, but I think the running game matches up much better against the Broncos. I think that's what they'll do. I think they'll just kind of control the play there. And I just can't trust, after what I've watched McDermott do with this kind of makeshift defense that's playing as one of the better defenses in the league right now. I can't be worried about Bo Nix. I just can't. I think the Bills win this game pretty easily.
I'm predicting a Bills win, but I would not expect a blowout by any means, or a handle, them to beat them handily. So playoff football is, I feel like, a little bit of a different breed. So yeah, you get those games sometimes. I just don't know if the Bills are really built to have that lopsided victory, especially when Denver's defense is what it is. I could, see it being a lower scoring game. And the Bills taking care of the Broncos and kind of managing to keep them to a bunch of field goals. But I also expect the Broncos defensive line to give our offensive line some trouble. So expect, I would say, somewhat of a similar game plan, but now the Broncos are going to, know what to expect. They've obviously looked at that film. So I expect a pretty close matchup, but yeah, I do think the Bills are the better team, and typically over 60 minutes, it's going to level out.
Yep, you're muted. Allie, you're muted.
So embarrassing. You guys. Episode 9,000. I'm still doing that. All right, guys. Patriots versus Texans. Two very unlikable teams. What do you got?
Yeah. So obviously Stroud was abysmal, to say the least, against the Steelers. And I don't have a lot of confidence in him to, be the reason why the Texans win the game. And for that reason, I will just pick out the better quarterback and say I think Drake May is going to lead them to victory. They're at home. You have Vrabel, who I think has been a really good coach, and I'm not worried about the 16 points only against the Chargers, who have been a really good defensive unit. Minter's getting some head coaching looks, so I expect the Pats to do what they've done in a lot of these games, which is, score between 24 to 32 points, somewhere in that range, and get the win against the Texans, because I just don't think they'll be able to match them offensively.
Yeah, I tend to agree. This Texans defense is like a world beater, and I would be, as a Bills fan, would be more afraid to play them than the Pats. I do think the Pats just match up a little bit better on them than even we do. And I do think that they'll find a way to win this game, although I'll find it to be pretty low scoring and a tough battle. I think we're looking at Bills Pats AFC Championship game.
Oof.
Yeah, which will be a whole nother conversation next week. But
I'd
feel good about that too, by the way.
Okay, I'll take it. I'll take your Chat GPT energy. I will take it. Welcome, Lewis. Okay, now let's talk about who we are buying in our Dynasty leagues.
So I'm going to start here, Rye, because I'm doing some, you probably got yours already here, so whatever. But I'm going deep here, and I hope you may have done that too. But I got a guy at each position. Some are deep. There's one here that's not super deep. But at the quarterback position, I've been talking about this guy a lot here over the last couple of weeks as trying to talk myself into the fact that he's probably going to find himself into a situation where he could at least start 6 to 8 weeks as a bridge quarterback. I think Mitch Trubisky is a fine guy to go buy for a 4th round, like super flex pick right now. I think he's could be a Tyrod Taylor where he goes somewhere and whatever, joke about what that he did against the Jets 5th stringers and they're the horrible team. But I think even before that, I think he is one of those guys that has enough draft pedigree and been around and behind Allen in a good offense that he is like the perfect guy to go be a bridge quarterback for a rookie. And if he's in the right situation, I think he could start some games. I'd throw a 4th for Trubisky. Running back, Jonathan Brooks, man, I'm not giving up yet. And I don't know if you saw the coach speak today from is it Canales? Am I saying that right? Is it Canales in Carolina? Well, whatever. I mean, he was talking him up big time, like that he's going to be a big part of this going forward. Obviously, Dowdle and Hubbard, kind of short-term guys there. I don't know what I'd be paying for Jonathan Brooks right now, but I'm, maybe one of those guys that you're throwing a 3rd round value type of veteran at somebody. Wide receiver, I'm going Torrey Horton to kind of like stay true to this, like as a deep sleeper that you want. I think he's getting a little bit forgotten because of the Shaheed move and stuff like that. Plus he gets hurt. So he won't be in everybody's mind here at the end of the year. I do want to throw Dunze into this mix, and I know he's not what I'm asking for here is like a deep sleeper to buy, but kind of, he's a really good buy low candidate I think with the love that Loveland and Burden are getting here in this offense. I think he's going to be a little bit forgotten, especially if he doesn't completely recover from the injury and just has like another minuscule game this week. I think he could end up being a really fun buy in Dynasty. And then tight end, Jake Tunges. I mean, like I said, I don't think he did much different than Kittle in the games that he needed to play for Kittle this year. And Kittle tearing his ACL last week, he might not play all of next year. So it's a little bit risky to pay up. Like people are going to ask pretty decent price for him. And it's a little bit risky to just assume that they won't go for a free agent or draft somebody. But usually tight ends that you draft they have bigger needs than drafting tight end. And any later round tight end is not going to come play already. So I think Tungens would be a fun buy, especially in some tight end premium leagues.
Well, Lou, while you're buying Mitch Trubisky, I also have some snake oil I can sell you if you're interested. Because oh my God, no way do I want to buy Mitch Trubisky for anything. But anyways, I will. I went as you may expect. I answered in all rookies because that's just how I work. Because these are all off the radar rookies though. So. First one quarterback, I'm going to go Jalen Milroe. So this guy was a second round pick and he is behind Sam Darnold. Yes. But is anyone going to be incredibly surprised if the wheels fall off between now and this time next year or a year and a half from now? And we have to remember that because he was a second round pick, I think like 53rd or 55th overall. I mean, they have some plan for him, right? There is not just the desire to sit him on the bench for an indefinite period of time. So I think you can get him for about the same price of a late second, early third, potentially, if some team is just kind of impatient and feeling like they're tired of him sitting on the bench. So for my running back, I'm going to agree with Lou on Jonathan Brooks. He was also my buy. I think people are not factoring in the contract situation. So Dowdle is a free agent, and Hubbard, I know, did resign, but I think obviously proved to not be a 1A option. So yeah, I'm going to try to get him on the cheap. I wouldn't overpay for him because he's likely only a year or two stopgap solution. For wide receiver, I'm going to go Savion Williams. This is a really deep one, and this is a really cheap, almost free potential waiver wire addition. But here's the thing with this guy. So he's 6'4", he was a third round pick, and he's a gadget type player. So he can run the ball. They line him up in the backfield. He is maybe never going to be he could be a jack of all trades, a master of none type. But, I guess on the high end, you're looking at like a Cordell Patterson type, and maybe he is electric in an offense that, truthfully, there isn't really an alpha, and I don't know if there's going to be an alpha even next year. So I maybe just take a shot on him as a late round dart. And then finally for tight end, I'm going to go Gunnar Helm. I know we've talked about him a handful of times. I still think people are not awake to the fact that he is going to likely be the starting tight end for the Tennessee Titans in an improved situation, you would think, with perhaps an offensive-minded head coach coming in. Chigakonkwo is a free agent. I mean, why not? The second, third round pick. I mean, tight end premium, you're probably not going to be able to get him. But in other leagues, just take a shot on these guys. And if it hits, it's such a big advantage. Finding Kittle before he was a thing. So let's see Gunnar Helm.
All right. We kind of talked about it earlier, but a lot of moves in head coach. We got our Miami. We've got the Jets. We've got so many open spots. Any hot takes on coaches that have been fired, potential places they might go, potential new hires? Who's going to Vegas? Where's Pete Carroll going?
Pete Carroll's Pete Carroll's going to heaven soon. I think he's saying.
We're gonna give him a butterscotch candy, and he's just gonna.
I think he's going there. I don't think anything was overly surprising. Maybe Harbaugh, maybe the most, but I just think Lamar just has control there over that team, and obviously that wasn't working. So I think that was going to happen here. I don't think anything was shocking that happened. I do wonder how many of these guys, do you think Stefanski and McDaniel find a head coaching job? I don't think either of them do. I think both of them end up being offensive coordinators before they get a head coaching job. But now there's so many available that I think the three guys I want to ask you about: Stefanski, McDaniels, and then does Joe Brady get an interview?
Can I give my hot take before Ryan gives his hotter take? So with the Steelers, I was talking to some to Steeler Nation fans, and they all said, so obviously we know that there's 3 head coaches that have been in the Steelers' helm. And Mike Tomlin was 34 when he got the job. Bill Cowher was 36. And, Bill Cowher, special teams coach. We had I think at least in Pittsburgh, they're not going to pick the obvious choice. And I think that's going to be the team that we're going to be a little bit surprised on.
Yeah, I can see that. I definitely think they're going to be going. I don't think they're going to go retread Pittsburgh. I do think that they'll go one of the coordinators, although I know some of the retreads are already being talked there. I think Minter is the one that's Jesse Minter, the defensive coordinator is that the Chargers, has picked up the most steam there. But yeah, I tend to agree with that. I don't think that they will go one of the retreads. Right. Thoughts on the 2 retreads and then any kind of Joe Brady?
Yeah, I'll start there. I don't think he ends. I think he'll get interviews. I don't think. I mean, he's already supposed to be rumored to get an interview with the Ravens, I believe. But no, I don't think he lands a job. I don't think he deserves to, personally. No. Regarding Stefanski, I do think he gets a head coaching gig this year. I think he is looked at pretty highly around the league. And I think somebody like Arthur Blank in the Falcons would fall in love with somebody like that, because for Arthur Blank, I think you don't want to necessarily, you just hired Matt Ryan, you don't want to push the total reset button. And he comes with a lot of experience and a lot of, positive reviews. I think he just makes a ton of sense in Atlanta. And I think he would love that job too. You don't necessarily have the long-term answer at quarterback, but he didn't have that in Cleveland either. Maybe he gets a little bit longer leash here to figure it out there. So that makes a lot of sense. I actually think that McDaniel, while he should be head coach, somewhere this year, I think what he should do and what he will do is he's going to take the Lions OC job. And I think that would be so smart, because he can repair his reputation in one year. He can just focus on what he's really good at. And with those weapons, I mean, he's got Gibbs is H-hand plus. You actually have legitimate receiving threat options, and you have a quarterback that can move the ball in a system, not like Tua can. So, I mean, that is what I would do if I were he. I would just go there, try to win a Super Bowl with the Lions, and then handpick your destination next year. Just quickly, I mean, I have other predictions on all of these teams, but I think the one that makes the most sense that is going to happen very soon is Harbaugh to the Giants. I love that fit for Jackson Dart. If I'm a Jackson Dart owner, I feel really good about just having some stability at that position. And, if he's good, which I do think he's good, and you have a coach like that there, which should be able to get the other side of the ball performing well. I mean, man, I really like that. So I hope he ends up there.
Yeah, I think that sounded like they were putting on a hardcore press today. I think that probably happens. I like what you just put up here, Ellie. I mean, Chris Shula to the Dolphins, I think just makes way too much sense. The Rams defense coordinator to go Don Shula's grandkid just back to Miami. I think that makes so much sense. It'd be a fun story like that. Now, as a Bills fan, I would love for them to take Tomlin or something, or just somebody horrible.
Do you
I
think
that-
Tomlin coaches next year? I think he takes a
I
year
think
off.
he goes
Like
to
2 years
TV.
off,
I think I think he goes to TV for a while, see how's that work, and he might. Yeah, I think Tomlin's perfect for TV, so he might be one of those things that's like Bill Cowher. He goes in TV, he never comes back to coaching, just because why would you if you're making all that money and you're great at it? But and he's a horrible head coach. I don't know how he kept his job this long. But anyways, Chris Shula, yeah, I like him a lot. I think Clayton Kubiak gets one of the jobs. I don't know where, but I think he finally deserves a job. I think the one name to watch out for is like a surprise, maybe the Raiders or somebody, is former Bill Davis Webb. I think everybody speaks up about his mind and how great of a teacher he is, and how anybody would want him to be he is going to be a skyrocket to a head coach. And I think right now he's just the Broncos quarterback coach. But he'll 100% be an offensive coordinator somewhere next year, but he might expedite and get right to a team that's looking to do something a little bit different.
I think it's going to be Shielhausa that does that one. He's the Rams passing game, or I think he's their passing game coordinator. He sounds like the one that's going to just like short circuit the way to the top. But it probably is going to be somebody. I mean, what do owners want? They want the next McVay. They want the next young, smart offensive mind. And why wouldn't you take a shot on that?
Yep,
love it. All right. Has obviously been a lot of changes in coaching. So we are going to help a team out, and we're going to draft the next New York Jets coach. So, Louis.
This is one team we didn't talk about, the shit show that is the New York Jets. We will draft who should be their next head coach. And the order is I'm first. Allie's second. Ooh. And Ryan, you are third. And I will go right into it with the first pick. I think there's an obvious one here. What full circle moment would there be for it to be Bill Belichick after he's had 2 stints as the New York Jets head coach and never coached a game for him? That is insane. He had briefly taken over or got named interim coach while they were negotiating with the Pats to get Parcells. They get Parcells, and they made him the assistant head coach. So he didn't coach then. And then as Parcells worked out the deal for him to be his predecessor, he signed with them for 1 day. And then, of course, as we know, famously left them after 1 day and went to the Patriots. I think it would be such a funny full circle move for Bill Belichick to come back and finally coach the New York Jets. So he is my number 1 pick.
All right. That makes a lot of sense. So my pick is someone who has stood the test of time, has always shown up in history at the right moment, and I'm going to say Forrest Gump.
You're doing Ryan's Kevin James bit now with Forrest Gump.
I do love Forrest Gump for everything. I love him. He's a great film, but also he has seen it all. I don't know what I don't know if it's not a Indian burial ground. I don't know if it's an entire territory, but man, that team has not pulled through in a while. So Forrest Gump.
All right. So for my first pick for the next Jets head coach, just like Lou, I'm going to go with a former Jets coach coming back. I thought it would also be very fitting. They are Rex Ryan, and Rex Ryan are the Jets. I mean, come on. They are so perfect for each other. He should be the lifetime coach of the Jets just because of who he is. He just fits them so well. So Rex Ryan, welcome back. You are there now forever. After Rex Ryan, I think the next best option would be somebody that is kind of like him in many ways, I would think. John Gruden. He is available. He's, working for Barstool, doing his thing. But, I mean, he's bombastic. He's very loud. He's, come on. It would be a match in heaven between him and the New York media, too. So John Gruden's my second pick.
Love it. You guys really did your research on this, as did I. My next pick is another very important person in history. And we're gonna go with Ted Lasso.
Oh, that's so good. He's on my list. Definitely. That's
Okay,
really
good.
good.
That's
Good.
why. Okay. Just it was so positive. The Jets need something they need something positive. I think they've got the great players. They're missing something. I don't know if it's head coach. Well, clearly it's head coach right now because the spot is open, but something. And I think they need someone like Ted Lasso to figure it out.
Who are a bunch of 20 and young 30-year-olds going to listen to? Rihanna. Rihanna should be the next coach. Who is going to get a bunch of testosterone-filled men to go to war for them more than Rihanna? Are you kidding me? She could be like the thing from what was it, Major League, where you take off a piece of clothing every time they win, and she could have one of those things. Oh man, Rihanna is a great pick. And then one of our favorites, podcast favorite here. I know he's still in the league, but maybe a little early retirement to get into coaching, just to talk a little bit more to the New York media. Jameis Winston should be the next coach. I would give up my Bills season tickets so I could be home every day at the end of the Jets game to tune in to those post-game press conferences. So Jameis Winston is my number 3.
I love it. To quote Louis, who would a bunch of 20 or 30-year-old football players listen to? Then I'm going to say just a generic influencer, just a very someone they're like, hey, sports. Why don't you coach our team? And then they're like, yeah, cool. And then they're trying to do a play and they're like, no, I got to take my phone. I think at this point, just show somebody, have someone show up and see what happens. And then see if it is
the walking bats girl.
Yes. Anything. You can anything. Just give me anything. I want to see if it's the head coach, if it's the OC, if it's anything. I want to see who it is because it doesn't matter at this point.
All right. You guys are not taking this very seriously because if we have a very legitimate football coach still on the board, also has the flair to handle the New York media. It's Deion Sanders. All right. Then we have potential QB controversy with him out in Cleveland getting disrespected. They bring him in. He plays for his dad, and the Jets, still probably suck, but at least somebody would want to talk about them, or Stephen A. Smith would at least. So that would be a lot of fun. And then finally, guys, come on. Of course, if you want experience, you want someone who has coached the New Orleans Saints, in fact, before. Let's go with Kevin James as the head coach of the New York Jets. He does have prior head coaching experience. You talk about 20 and 30-year-old men wanting to get them to go to war. I mean, Kevin James over Rihanna, I think, would motivate me, no doubt. So,
yeah.
Can I ask real quick? Cut off. Sorry, is there a 2% chance even that Deion Sanders coaches the Browns?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you can't ever put anything past that ownership group and the Browns. No, of course it's not out of the.
That would be so insane.
It would
be great.
Be so insane.
It
would be great for the league for sure.
He'd be like, Dad, no.
Dad. It's not college anymore, man. I'm a grown up.
Dad, I'm my own car now. Ryan. Now, just taking from what you guys say, Ryan just said that we're not taking this seriously. But how could you not take a slice of pizza seriously? And that's why I think just a slice of pizza, a giant, not a foam pizza, like a sideline. I want a headset. I want it to cover its mouth, like a hamburger helper, knit. So it wouldn't really cover its mouth.
You should. Where's your Bison's mascot? Where is the beef? Where's the roast beef? That's who I want. That needs to be the next head coach of the New York Jets.
Imagine it has these little stick arms and it's trying to cover its mouth. He's like, we're gonna run on the next play, but it can't make its mouth so everyone sees it.
It only took me 0.25 seconds for you to say a slice of pizza to like go from what you were actually not actually talking about a slice of pizza, and I pictured the whole thing. I pictured the white arms outside of the pizza. I pictured it with the headphones on. It's so good.
See, I also literally pictured it at the press conference and some New York reporter getting pissed at the pizza because he's not answering the questions right. He's like, this fucking guy, he's not even answering my questions. Is that the worst New York accent ever? I think
that was pretty bad. It was.
I like the idea of this like slice of pizza sitting in a chair, getting stuck, and then leaving a mess. And then the next guy's like Shedor Sanders is like, fuck.
The fans in New York are like, he's not even New York style. So dumb.
And then he's just
you deep dish motherfucker.
Yeah, it's so good.
So dumb.
And then he like tells you, I just take a hamburger helper hand. Anyway, Louis, what do you got, bud? What do you
I'll
got?
close it out here. I part of me wants to say Mickey from Rocky, but I won't. I will go George Knox. And if you don't know who George Knox is, it was Danny Glover's character in Angels from the Outfield. And I think it's because they need some help from the heavens to change things with the Jets. So they might need him and who is the little boy that he's like famous now, isn't he? Isn't he like Harry Potter or something? Who was the kid that was in that movie? Angels of the Outfield.
Gordon Levitt? I don't know.
Isn't it? I think it is.
Oh.
I think it is. I really do think so. I think it's Levitt, right?
Oh, he was not. He was in Third Rock from the Sun, not Harry Potter, but
very similar.
So good. Well, that was really fun, guys. That was a good draft. We're getting close. We're getting close. So thank you for your hot takes. I'm so excited. I'm also very nervous. I'm glad, at least as a Bills fan, we get our game on a Saturday, so we can either be not stressed or sad on Sunday. But good luck, everyone. Happy playoffs, and we will see you next week. This is Analytics Are for the Nerds.